Increasing your baby's auditory intelligence. We tend to believe that children who have perfect pitch or understand many languages are genetically favored or destined to do so. This is not true. Brain development is a function of use. This is how you can go about doing it. Realize what you are really teaching. Though we may feel that we always give our babies good information, we often inadvertently give misinformation. This is because of not using the right words at the right time. The most common words with which we fail to give good information is no and don't do that. Remember that positive reinforcement works better than negative reinforcement. For example, Palomi is sitting at her high chair playing with her spoon, and no one is paying her any special attention. The spoon accidentally falls on the floor. You pick it up, give it back, saying, "Don't do that, Palomi." Soon the spoon drops again, and you respond the same way. Palomi has just learned something new. It's called the "Don't Do It" game. The rules are: Palomi drops the spoon and you pick it up. This is much more fun than just playing with the spoon. It is now inevitable that you will soon get tired of picking up the spoon, leading you to shout at her. It could be different. Go back to when she drops the spoon. Pick it up with minimum fuss, explaining that the spoon belongs to the table, not the floor. Then keep telling Palomi how great she is for keeping the spoon on the table. If you keep paying attention to her, she won't need to drop the spoon on a spoon to get your attention, will she? But if she again drops her spoon on the floor, this time say with minimum fuss, "If you drop the spoon again, we will put it away." Suppose Palomi drops it again, then without fanfare, put it in the sink and divert her attention to something else. Keep telling her how great she is when her actions are appropriate, and minimize your reactions when her actions are inappropriate. This manner of teaching a child should continue even when the child is older. If you begin the program at birth, he will cross this stage when she is about 16 weeks old. An average child will accomplish this in 52 weeks. Stage 1. From the birth onwards, take the baby to a quiet room. Give the baby the greatest contrast between sound and silence. Ideally, there should be no sound absorbing materials, drapes, carpets, furniture, etc. Absorb sound, while bare walls and bare floors reflect sounds. 10 times a day, have the baby lie comfortably nearby and ring the bell once. See and feel him jump at the sound. Wait for 3 seconds and then tell him that the sound of the bell is ringing. Don't worry about whether he understands the words or not. Now wait 4 seconds for him to relax. Repeat the whole procedure again. In a short time, your baby will not only startle, but with loud, unpleasant sounds, he will have a look of wide eyed astonishment. He crosses over the next stage when he cries in response to loud, threatening sounds. He may be now be 15 days old. Some other on purpose sounds that you can create are spoon against a frying pan, a horn, a whistle. Normally, he hears sounds accidentally, like the phone ringing or the door slamming, a child shouting or the car horn, etc. What you sow is what you reap. Respect. Whether you put it in the child, that is what the child will give. For example, you put in garbage and he will put out garbage. You speak lies, he will speak lies. You give him TV and he will always want TV. You give him no information, he will be a duffer. Likewise, you make him hear the best of music, and he will be a superb musician. You give him the opportunity in sports, and he will be a sportsman. You give him the opportunity in art, and he will be an artist. Whatever you give him, he will be that only. So, what you sow is what you reap. Be very alert, conscious of what goes in his or her brain the first 6 weeks. No, first 6 years, okay? Languages. If you want your baby to have high auditory intelligence in your native language, talk to him about everything you do with him in that language. Describe everything he sees, hears, feels, tastes, smell, the people he meets, places he goes with you. Your voice should be loud and clear, the pronunciation distinct. Avoid baby talk. Remember, his auditory pathway is clean but immature. It will only grow by use. If you want him to have a high auditory intelligence in several languages, then speak in many languages or have people speak to her in Marathi, Gujarati, Punjabi, Tamil, Kannada, etc. Because you're speaking to the baby in his native or other languages does not mean that he understands them. He does not. In fact, he can't even hear them unless you speak in loud, clear voice. But then, what's the benefit? It is as follows: it grows and matures the brain so he will be able to hear a conversation, tone of voice, um, that than much sooner. He is exposed to various sounds which occur in various languages. If in later life, such a child wants to learn additional languages, he will be able to learn them easily and he will speak them without an accent. Music. If you want your child to have a high auditory intelligence in music, give him the stimulation of hearing all types of music. The quality of music, the composition, from great classics to the latest hit song, and the instrument, music system, radio should be the best quality you can afford. Stage 2: how to develop perception of different sounds, 21 to 2 months onwards. That makes no sense. Two and a half months onwards. Provide an environment rich of sounds. Contrast between sound and silence is still important at this stage. Don't protect him from threatening sounds that normally occur in the environment. For example, a thunderclap, a roar of a car engine starting, sound of a drill. Also, continue using the same principles used in stage 1. Since making sudden loud sounds will be more difficult than ringing a bell or blowing a horn, you will find a tape recorder in which you have recorded different types of sound useful at this stage. Do 20 sessions a day instead of 10, but spend less than half a minute each time. Spend as much time as it takes to make the threatening sound. Wait for the baby to react. As soon as he reacts, give him a big hug and tell him about the sound he just heard. Languages. Continue talking to your infant about everything that happens to him during the day. As the environment expands, there will be new experiences to tell him about. Continue also talking about routine activity for frequency. This applies for all languages you want to teach him. However, don't mix words from different languages. If you want to teach him a language in which you or your family member or your friend don't have a perfect accent, talk to the child in that language anyway. It's better than he hears imperfect dictation than not hearing it at all. At this stage, he is not only learning actual words of the language, but learning the sounds of that language. Music. You have been playing him all styles of music. Organize it such that he can listen to all styles equally often. Now start teaching him perfect pitch. You don't have to be a musician to do this. All you need is an inexpensive keyboard. Strike a single clear note and tell him in a loud, clear voice what the note is, and do it 5 to 6 times a day. If your baby was several months old when you began this program, he will cross this stage in a few weeks. Let's say by the time he is 5 months old. If you begin at birth and entered this stage when he was 15 days old, he will complete the stage in 10 weeks old. How will you know when he has crossed the stage? You will know because he will consistently begin to smile when you speak to him in a happy tone of voice, and to look unhappy when you speak to him in a sharp tone of voice.